Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight. Just want to go through the Astronomer of the Week for this week. And moving forward, we're going to start with one of the grandest of all, most well known in the amateur circles for his Messier catalog. It is Charles Messier. Charles Messier, born 1730 to 1817. And we're going to tip our hat to the Comet Ferret himself, so to speak. Modern observers use his catalog kind of as a bucket list as a way to get started with observing or imaging. And it's usually considered one of the best lists and most beautiful deep sky treasures, a lot of them. Messier himself viewed the 110 objects as nothing more than a nuance, celestial portholes, to be avoided while hunting for his true passion, comets. He Messier was born, and he was a survivor. He was born into a very large family in Badenville, France. He lost his father at age 11, and he had to leave school. His passion for the stars was sparked uh, by the great comet of 1744, the six-tailed comet, and that led him to a career at the French Navy's observatory. Uh, in irony of his life is palpable. He discovered 13 comets and co-discovered many, many others. Yet today his name is synonymous with the very objects he wanted to avoid. Some things that you probably want to know about Charles Messier in details. There was a Napoleon connection. Late in life, Messier published a booklet claiming that the Great Comet of 1769 was an omen for the birth of Napoleon Bonaparte. Critics kind of got on his case about that, and they viewed that as a desperate move to secure funding and attention during his final years of life. Uh, there was a mistaken beginning. The very first entry in his catalog, Messier 1 M1, the Crab Nebula, was recorded because he was frustrated by this cloudy object that refused to move out of Taurus. It turned out to be a supernova remnant. This is a sketch that I did in 2021 out at one of my dark sites here in Utah with my 17.5 f4.4 with a 5mm and 7mm Pentax XW with a DGM 03 filter attached. Uh, also used a 7mm Nagler on it as well at that time. Anyway, but he viewed these as just a distraction. And actually, it's one of the most beautiful objects there. And with an 03 filter, you can actually capture elements of that in as you're doing that. Uh, the king's nickname, King Louis XV, was so impressed by his relentless pursuit of comets that he dubbed him the Ferret of Comets, Le Ferret des Comets. In addition, Napoleon Bonaparte held him in high regard, eventually uh, awarding him the Cross of Legion of Honor, which a lot of times you see displayed in his images. Some other things. Whoops. Let's go back. Some other things you probably don't need to know that you do want to know about him. He observed from downtown. Kind of made me think of that old 60s songs, Downtown. Most of you probably don't know that or remember it. You can look it up. But anyway, most of his famous observations were made from the Hotel de Cluny here, with a modest 4-inch refractor in the heart of Paris. Despite the fog of coal smoke, that was his light pollution. He managed to catalog objects that still challenge observers today, and many find just beautiful. Uh, he had a secret partner. Many of his later objects in his catalog were actually discovered by his dear friend but fierce professional rival, Pierre Marchand. In fact, Marchand is credited with discovering roughly 25, some say 26, of the entries, including favorites like M63, the Sunflower Galaxy, and M97, the Owl Nebula. As you can see here, Charles Messier passed away in Paris on April 12th, 1817, at the age of 86. He led a full life, especially back in that time period. He's buried in the famous Père Lachaise Cemetery, where his legacy is immortalized among other French icons. Uh, there's an observer's challenge that I'll give you next. If you're out with your gear this week or next week, since we're heading into the waning moon period and new moon next week, whether you use a standard 4-inch refractor. And I think maybe when I get done sketching the Herschel 400 in my 17.5, that might be my next challenge. Is never looked at all the Messiers in a 4-inch scope, and with the Telview MP101 that I have now, I think I may take that challenge up at a dark site just to see what I can see in it. Anyway, kind of squirreled on that. Anyway, but whether you're out with a 4-inch refractor like Messier, or you have a huge light bucket, or you're imaging, try to find M40. It's one of the few mistakes in the catalog. It's a simple double star in Ursa Major that Messier mistakenly thought was had nebulous around it. It's a great reminder that even the greats had their off nights. Kind of, we'll finish this up and close it up with a quote by Messier himself. What caused me to undertake the catalog was the nebula I discovered, which reminded me so much of a comet that I undertook to find more of its kind to save astronomers from confusing them. Anyway, Charles Messier, one of the legends in both astronomy and amateur astronomy. We love his objects. His objects are eye candy. They are wonderful, whether you're imaging, observing, doing outreach. We have a lot to be thankful for Charles Messier and his discovery of these objects. Thanks for joining me. Hope you have clear skies. We'll catch you next time.